Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay, and it's time to give you a follow-up on one of the best $200 phones you could possibly get. You can actually get this for about $170, so be sure to check the updated pricing on the links below. I'll have both of them down there, the 64 gig model that I have here with 4 gigs of RAM, and then also the 3 gig, 32 gig model. The 6 gig versions of this phone are very difficult to find, and if you do, I think they're the Chinese model, so it's not the global model, but the links down in the description are the ones that'll work in the US fully with no problems. So, that being said, wow. This is a phone that's totally worth 200 bucks. Let's start with the hardware. Now, the hardware on this thing is absolutely great, man. You get this beautiful 6.3-inch display. You get a headphone jack. Now there's two models, I'll say that. There's a 48 megapixel with a 5, which is what I have, and then there's also a 12 with a 2 on the rear. I totally suggest that you get the one that I have. Links in the description, remember. 48 megapixel camera is absolutely awesome, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But the hardware on this thing is nothing short of stunning. It is a beautiful piece of hardware, and I don't think I would have it any other way for a $200 phone. I mean, this is like Huawei quality $200 phone. This is glass and metal. It's really nice setup, and I think you'll be totally happy with this device. Now, let's get to that 48 megapixel camera. That's been one of the highlights of using this device. The camera on this phone shoots really good footage depending on the lighting, and then the photos, very nice. You actually have to turn on the 48 megapixel shooter. By default, it's just that the quality shows like high and good quality like that, high, low, medium, or whatever, but keeping it on the 48 megapixel when you want to take a nice photo is going to give you lots of detail. But other than that, you know, you can just take regular photos with this thing, and it'll be just the dual AI cameras, which are absolutely fantastic, man. But the 48 megapixel, when enabled, shoots very high quality footage. It is unreal that they're doing that with the software, and the cameras on here is just really good. Photos that you could actually probably print off and, you know, put on your wall if you wanted to. Really high quality. So cameras on here do have a limitation though. This has the Snapdragon 660, but I think you still should be able to record in 4K, but this phone does not record in 4K. The highest it goes is 1080p at 60 frames per second. However, that 1080p at 60 frames per second footage is fantastic. Cameras on here will definitely impress you, hands down, no doubt. Only time you might see a little bit of questionable photos is when you put it next to a camera that has just blows other cameras away in still shots. Don't need to mention. And there's other cameras that blow all phones away pretty much in video. Don't need to mention. But reality is this phone costs 200 bucks, and a lot of those other phones are double the price or almost 4 times the cost. So you do the math on what you want to decide to pick up for your budget. However, I've been impressed. Now, I normally will run my favorite launcher, which is the Pix launcher. The Pix launcher is a wonderful launcher, and I'm just totally impressed with how fast this phone is without any kind of software launcher on top of it. It's just a great phone, and I think if you decide to pick one up, if you haven't already got one, I think a lot of people actually already have this phone though. Not in the US, but there's a ton of people that have this phone because I see them commenting on how great the phone is. But there's also a Pro version that came out after this, but nonetheless, it's just a really good experience with the stock software. I choose to run the Pix launcher from time to time, but hey, you do what you want to do. Battery life on this thing is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and as I started the video, I believe I told you it can pretty much last for at least 2 days or so. That's pushing it, but if you're not a heavy user, you'll definitely be able to get 2 days out of this thing, which means you don't have to charge it on Saturday and Sunday. You might have to charge it up Sunday night before you go to work, but on Monday. But this should last you Saturday and Sunday and parts of Friday. So that's totally dependent on the user though. If I can make it like through a full Saturday and then part of Sunday, I know you guys will too, because you probably don't get nearly as many emails as I get or social media notifications. I leave everything synced up, everything. Now I've been using this over T-Mobile USA, and I think I spoke about bands at the beginning of the video, but the phone gives me between 50 and 70 on download speeds pretty much. fantastic, man. It has bands, the global version that you'll find the links in the description, which is this model. It has band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 28, 30, 38, and 40, I believe. So again, check the links in the description and it will take you right to it. But the phone works flawlessly in the US, folks. I just haven't had any problems with traveling with it, nothing. City to city, it's been great. So I don't think you guys will have a problem with LTE with this phone in the US. I think you'll be great with it. I think you'll really enjoy it. So Cricket, it's unlocked, and I've used it on Cricket, T-Mobile, and it'll work on Project Fi, but it won't jump tower, so pretty much it'll be on T-Mobile for Project Fi. But other than that, folks, this is a brief follow-up. The phone is awesome. It looks good. The cameras are fantastic. The battery is good. The software is solid, but you have the option to change it to a different launcher if you want. What else could you want? I mean, how much more could I explain to you how good this phone is? So maybe I'll put up some camera samples at the end of the video. I don't know. Maybe I've already put them up. I don't know. But nonetheless, this is an awesome phone, and I think you will be hard-pressed if you try to pass this one up for 180 or 200 bucks for whatever it costs right now. It's your man Jay, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.